We'll have the pledge.
Turkey fingers.
Roll call.
Farnham.
Here.
Helmsley. Voigt. Zuber.
Here.
Bruner. English.
Here.
Janice.
Here. Public comment. Seeing none, we'll go on to the discussion of the possible approval of ambulance bid specs.
Everybody got a copy?
I have so many of them.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
The most recent one that I handed you this morning
This one.
is everybody I handed.
The neat one with no
The neat
spacing in it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Augie, for that.
Yeah, I realigned Dale's copy, and I must add that the only thing that I inserted into your contract, in paragraph number 3,
Yes,
it says the point contact for the county is Dale
Yes.
English. Then, in the next sentence, that those bids are due May 1st in the clerk's office. And
Very
I gave
good.
the address. That was missing.
Is May 1st okay with everybody?
That's
The
up-
contract's up the end of May.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. I didn't put in there to contact Dale English, but it's in there, but I'm glad you added that to it.
Well, yeah, it came that way, that the point of contact is Dale English. I didn't add that.
No, I didn't either. but-
Well, who did?
Well, we talked to the state's attorney, said
And
it
he
would
did.
be in there.
Oh.
It was in Eric's original deal.
Do you want that in, or do we want that out?
We don't need me in there at all.
I can take it, it's just not a problem.
Well, just take that sentence out.
I think we gotta leave him in there.
But, no.
Well, actually, I was gonna ask for a phone number to put in.
Takes pressure off us.
Just mark that line out.
The point of contact for the county is Dale English.
Sounds like an official position.
I could insert the county clerk's telephone number, and if
Right.
they have questions, then I can forward that on. Is that all right with you guys?
Well,
Yeah.
I think the county clerk would be more of the natural,
Yes, you don't need,
the point of contact anyway, wouldn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll put your name in the.
Well, just the county clerk. From that standpoint.
Yeah,
Hi, Ned, how are you?
Oh, Ned,
That
come
could
on in.
change.
Come in, come in. It's fine.
Okay, so, that's all I did to that document.
Okay.
So what are we gonna put on there? Anything for point of contact?
No.
We're just gonna take that English, or that English.
Yeah, you can put
sentence out.
It's gonna,
You're putting in there contact the county clerk, right?
I could,
Is that what you
That's what I was
said?
wondering, yeah.
Or you're putting in a phone number?
well, he's got bids are due in the Edgar County Clerk's office.
Okay.
I don't care if
you want me to,
Well, how do
you
you want
want,
it?
you want me to say questions may be directed to the county clerk at?
That's what I'm wondering,
Yeah.
Okay.
because there's usually something in there that,
And then I'll field the
That's why I
questions
thought you
and
were-
pass them on.
Pass them on to Dale or whoever I need to go to.
that all he passed out.
This is a set of 4 different documents. Okay, this,
Voice last night too.
you got it.
What is that?
Here, Ben.
Okay.
This is the, I put together with mine, like he and I talked about. Okay?
Okay,
And then it has, there's 4 different documents in there.
That's what you gave me last night.
Right.
so do we just forget what I just told you all, or what?
No, I didn't change the first 2 pages. It's just the
No,
3rd
no.
pages.
You didn't change the first 2 pages.
We took out the second sentence, the point of contact is Dale, which you don't need that in the
In which, where are we at?
third paragraph.
Third
Successful
paragraph.
bid.
Successful
The
bid.
point of contact it for the county is Dale English. We're taking that out.
What are we gonna put in there?
Questions may be directed to the Edgar County Clerk.
Yeah.
How about bids or questions or bids are due, or, I was just gonna say,
Question may be directed to the Edgar County Clerk.
okay.
And then I'll take the questions and direct them, I'll send them out.
Okay.
Got a question. Are you putting this whole thing in the paper or just
No.
No.
They can pick up bid proposals at the county clerk's office.
Yes.
basically.
You're gonna mail it to them if they request, or you?
Email or mail.
Right.
I have a draft of a notice that I will put in the paper. Invitation to bid. Would you like for me to read it? It's gonna be a little block ad.
That's fine.
Edgar County Board is now accepting proposals to conduct an ambulance service. Bid specifications may be obtained in the county clerk's office. Proposals are due May 2nd. Now, May 2nd is different than May 1st.
Right.
I just saw that because May 2nd is a Friday, May 1st is a Thursday.
Yeah,
It
that's
makes
fine.
no difference to me.
No, that's fine.
Which
I like
one?
May 1st.
Okay.
Oh, you like me first?
I do.
Yeah, all right.
2014 at 4 p.m. in the
Well,
county
yeah, we don't
clerk's
wanna
office.
run in there at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock on the second.
Right, and then I just, my signature line, so it's gonna be a little block ad.
Did you say you have a time frame on that, when they're supposed to be due?
The proposals are due in at May 1st
At what time? At a certain
at
time?
4
You
p.m.
may want to throw that in this one too, then,
Yeah.
because this is gonna be their more formal thing that
Yeah.
they're looking at.
Bids are due by May 1st.
At 4 p.m.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Where's my copy there? By 4 p.m.
Okay, number one, nothing changed except we did say 1 year.
We'll go through these one at a time if anybody has a problem with something, otherwise we're gonna vote on it now. Go ahead.
And then number one is pretty standard, that's what we have now, and that's what we want in the future. Number two, that was just put in there because Eric does have a $150,000 line of credit, but like I said before, that's great today, but it may not be honored by any bank down the road. But the performance bond issue, again, is up to the ambulance provider, and the insurance companies will not give you a quote of any kind for that. So I guess we basically decided not to go down that road. Privacy issues, we really can't ask for financials or an audit. We're trying to keep this simple, but yet cover all the bases, but there's gotta be a certain amount of trust in here, I guess. But I think it should be in there, it may be better to have it than not have it.
You're talking about the $150,000.
$150,000, yeah, it says to ensure financial stability and creditworthiness, but whether it really does that, I don't know. If everything is fine, it will. Again, it's a 5-year contract, number 3. Service area number 4 is pretty well spelled out, these 7 townships. 5 is pretty self-explanatory. Each crew will consist minimum of 2, you've always got a paramedic in there, but that is covered in the first page. Number 6, liability insurance is currently $2 million, and that seems to be adequate. Again, all this has been run by the state's attorney. Number 7, don't ask me what the last sentence means, but you wanted that in there, transmit 12 lead EKGs.
We do
That's
heart
pretty,
monitors on the
yeah,
ambulance.
it's pretty standard.
Yeah,
Is there a different type of,
there's different types.
that's not as accurate or something? It says-
No, it's usually pretty accurate.
Is there less than a 12 lead? There is, isn't there? Yeah, you can do lesser.
Yeah.
I think a 12 lead is
12
a
lead
little more
monitor.
comprehensive.
Okay.
Right, right. 8, 9 are pretty standard. 10, we originally had anywhere in these 7 townships, but we got to thinking we don't really want it on the east side or the west side. Paris is the logical place. The reason for not staying within the city limits is we're asking them to own or lease a headquarters. Maybe they can't find something in the city limits, but they could find something on the edge of I don't know if the 5 miles is what we want, that's just what we put in there. Carl suggested maybe 2 or 3 when we talked last night. I'm not opposed to that, but I just didn't want to, again, restrict anyone that wanted to bid on this from being able to find headquarters.
Well, 5 mile will take you clear up to Airport Road,
Yeah,
shouldn't
let's
it?
say that's.
I drove it this morning. 5 Mile is almost to the Vermillion Road east.
Okay.
Going south is just south of the 5 Mile Hill.
All right, so 5's too much.
5 west is
Right.
May Station,
On
and
Log Road.
Larry Moss's is 5 north.
Okay.
2 Mile is, east of town is the, not the overhead, just past Sugar Creek Bridge.
Okay,
Stewart Airport Road, NAL, is 2 mile south. 2 mile west is 133 Springfield Road, north of King. And 2 mile north is Poodles,
Those are from the courthouse.
from the courthouse, yes.
so you think 2 would work, is that
That would be.
all right?
I mean, that's basically the edge, you know,
Yeah, it's still
outer
gets
edge
you
of
to the
town.
edge, yeah.
I mean, surely in that 2 mile, because, you know, like I told you last night, probably 90% of their activity is
Right.
Paris.
Right.
You know, that's where the population is.
Yeah.
And I don't want them, and you know, if you go north of town very far, then you go into Grandview, that's a long haul.
That's true.
think,
I just didn't want to say Paris city limits, because that's
Right.
restricting it
There's
too.
some federal laws on, they think the person has a stroke, they have so many minutes to get the person to ER, and we have almost so many minutes to run the test on, so I don't know if that would apply here or not.
They couldn't locate, I wouldn't think you'd let them locate it. Moss's there anyway, because that's Edgar, they're not
Right.
even in it.
Right. But, you know, just 5's way too much. 2,
Well, that's
you
true.
could go 3, but I think 2's, we need to.
2.5.
I was thinking actually 2.5.
Well, I am too now.
Let's do it.
I was thinking
2.5?
2.5.
Yeah, because I was thinking like if Pools is 2 and that place just north of there, that'd be you know, that big building there,
Yeah.
it's 2.1,
Right.
so
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
That,
Yeah, but
or Neil's place, you
Yeah.
know, there's semis parked there
Right.
now, but you know, just thinking of giving them a chance, different possibilities.
being looked out.
But Ben's right, we'd be out of our 7
That would
townships
be cute, the word.
in 5 miles.
That's the way to
So.
do it.
2.5.
Don't come up-
2.5, all right.
Yep.
So no,
We put number 11, the mutual aid in there, even though the watchdogs pointed out that's covered under 911, which I assume it is, but I just thought that should be in there. That's a secondary deal. We're not adding anything, we're just saying this is what we expect.
that should be understood, but it's in there.
Well,
Right.
yeah, but we didn't want, don't assume
Right.
anything. Jeff has added the 3rd page, which I think's a good idea. It pretty much spells out what we want. Maybe a little scary when you see all 5 lines on there, you've gotta fill them in, but,
Well, I have discussed that with you and some
yeah,
of the others.
but that's
I mean,
what we're asking for, so I think it's a good addition.
The bidder comments allows them to pontificate on why they should be chosen on others if they want to. And I think they need to certify to the bids,
Yeah,
or the criteria.
but if Augie gets a phone call, I don't expect him to say, well, we can do all but number 4, or we can do all but number 7. It's, no, this is our
All right, this is it, yeah.
you have to do this, you may comment on it, but this is what we're asking for. But, that's basically all I've got. If you guys have any more changes.
On the monetary, does that change every year based on the tax rate or
No.
assessed valuation or something?
Change it, it'll change on them, what they say it is. They're gonna put down how much they want each
Oh,
year.
okay, that's,
And that'll be,
okay,
and we can levy accordingly.
okay.
To what they say they need, we can levy.
So basically, that kind of determines who gets the ambulance service.
Well,
Can't
Jeff,
go by lowest bid, I know that, but,
no, and I'm glad you said that, because I kind of glossed over that at the,
Yeah, that's, and I don't know.
the
where it's
third, the
at.
3rd paragraph, successful bid should be considered as the lowest, most responsible bid.
And responsible.
okay.
Yeah, that would be better. And this does not mean, and the state's attorney stressed this, we do not take the lowest bid if we do not think we're going to get the service that
Right.
we.
If we got a $50,000 a year bid, was that, we may determine that that's not a responsible bid.
Jeff and I had a lengthy discussion about this. which involved yelling at each other, but we got to know each other a little better. Most stubborn.
And then I'll tell you what, then I went into the house and I was all, you know,
Yeah,
frustrated.
yeah, this is.
She goes, what's the matter? And I said, well, I just got some talking to Dale and I'm frustrated. And she goes, well, what about? And I told her, and she goes, well, let me read it. And she read the whole thing through and she goes, I agree with Dale.
So I'm taking her out for dinner. I already took him out for dinner, full disclosure. Anyway, the discussion was, we know what it was last year, the levy. It's 20 cents a hundred, it was 319,000. I guess, I kinda argued with Jeff, I said, okay, and I was serious, I said, I need 5,000 gallons of diesel fuel this year, give me a bid. But I don't tell him I've got $30,000 in the bank account, because he may change his bid.
Right.
So, in my view, the third page here, you fill in the blank based on your past history, your costs, just like Carl does, a budget every year to farm, I'm sure, like I do. And you know what your costs are, so you fill in the blank. Now, it's public record, they may call Augie and say, what was the levy last year? Well, 319,000. Well, we don't know that that's what it will be this coming year. And it's not like a big secret that we have, but I really don't want to tell everybody, hey, we've got $319,000, what's your bid? Well, it's not gonna be 219, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of I see both sides of it. We went back and forth for 30
We finally
minutes.
came to a.
What about the parity or fairness with them? Or you think most of them will be happy with saying, because I know it's 319,000.
It isn't.
Okay, I know it. They're gonna know it. My second year, I can't believe my costs on anything are gonna go down. So why wouldn't I formulate what my average cost has been over the last 3 years and put that down for year number 2, 3, 4, and 5? But the reality of that is, do we actually know what our 20 cents is gonna generate in the next 5 years?
No, we can only parse it.
We're assuming.
What I'm saying is, can we authorize money more than what
No,
No.
this 319,000
No.
is?
this board can lower the levy, but we cannot raise it.
Yeah.
We're not raising, I'm not messing with the levy.
No,
No.
right.
I'm not messing with the levy, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's 20 cents, and so all of a
If it
sudden the
goes up,
county's,
Yeah.
but that's not what,
No,
They bid.
it's not 20 cents. It's what we put it at.
I thought their
Anything 20
maximum
cents or
levy-
less.
That is the maximum levy.
Maximum.
20 cents.
maximum levy is less.
That's
See,
not gonna
okay,
give
so-
you 319,000.
So when they bid 240,000 for the first year, we don't levy, we levy less.
I got that part, that's not what
Okay.
I'm talking about.
I think in the third year, they put in 340,000. We haven't said anything that we're gonna pay max levy. In other words, what
Oh,
if the
okay.
levy only comes in at 330? They put the
Right.
third year at 340. I think you handled that in the contract.
Okay.
I think that's how you do it.
That's what I'm saying, I didn't
Okay.
know that, I didn't think we could approve something
We can't.
over and above what, that 20 cents, if that's our, if I understood that was our max. I didn't think we could actually approve anything over that 20 cents in a contract, so to
And you
speak.
might wanna put, this is the amount of tax money bidder will need to operate, da-da-da-da-da, for the next 5 years, not to exceed
Well, I don't
the
even know.
levy capability or the maximum
Right.
levy.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe
And we can't-
Just add that,
Add that to the sentence.
And we can't tell them what that is because we don't know.
Because we don't know.
We'll
Right,
just
that's what I'm
add
saying,
that.
though, our max is 20.
Not to
And I just-
exceed.
I think that's an excellent point, because they might put in more than what we can give them, and then we might be obligated to give it to them,
Right.
which we don't wanna do.
What do we want to say? Not to exceed the
So I'm gonna put
tax
it,
levy?
I'm gonna put a
Maximum
comma
tax levy,
after the next 5 years, comma, not to exceed
The maximum tax levy.
authorized.
the maximum
Tax
Or
levy.
Max
authorized
levy.
max.
Right, either way, authorized should be in there somewhere,
Maximum tax levy authorized.
either way.
Authorized.
Not to exceed the maximum tax
Glad you,
levy.
I thought of that
authorized.
earlier, and it got lost in my gray matter somewhere.
No, it's a good point, but again, whatever we have in this bid proposal is what's gonna be in the contract.
Yes.
We cannot add anything to the contract, because then you've ruined your bid process and the other,
Unless we only get one bid.
well, that's true. that the other bidders can say, wait a minute, this contract's different than what.
Right,
I bid
absolutely.
on.
We don't wanna wind up behind the eight ball on this issue.
All right. Okay, Alan, good for you. Anything else while we're here?
I move to authorize the bidding process and the specifications for the bid as amended here at the meeting that Augie now has. And go out for bids.
Subject to the approval of the state's attorney.
Yeah, I want Augie to retype this if he would, and we'll notify
Yes,
the
subject
state's
to the
attorney.
approval, or the final review of the state's attorney.
Okay, that's,
If there are any changes, I will let Ben know, and Augie, and we'll make sure everybody knows.
But you
before
can
we
go ahead and advertise for the bid while you're doing that, so.
But you're making the motion to accept it as it is
Has
written.
been changed here at our
I got
meeting.
the same changes I got there, and I'll check that.
I second.
Motion and second.
okay. Well, I was waiting for
Yes.
Augie to get done with his project.
Uh,
Roll call.
I got a motion by Voight and a second
Second
by
by
Brunner,
Brunner.
and now I have a roll call. Farnum,
Yes.
Voight,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Is this a resolution then, since we did it this way? I'm just asking.
No, I just asked for a roll call for record.
Okay, I didn't think it was, I just wanted to make it clear.
I think this meeting is done, right?
Motion to adjourn,
Well,
if you need that.
Public comment? or-
well, the
Oh,
number
okay,
6.
I'm sorry. Authorize the county clerk to publish bid notice.
So move, is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a second? Carl? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Now I'll move to adjourn.
Okay.
I know you were back there.
All in favor?
I know that laugh anyway.
All those in favor?
No, you didn't get it.
Aye.
Did we get a second?
I never had a second.
Second to my motion to adjourn.
Carl second.
Carl.
Somebody down there.
I'm sorry.
That's a standing motion, isn't it?
Yeah. All those in favor? Opposed? We're adjourned.
Excuse me just a second.
We'll take a little break and then we'll,
What's the next?
Let's see here.
You want to say that again?
Do you want me to say it again?
Please.
The finance committee meeting will come to order. Do we have any public comment? Okay. I guess the first item on the, that we need to talk about is the bellwether cost fee study and how we want to make, whether we want to make a recommendation to the full board for action on that at the next meeting. To that end, Augie and the sheriff are both here to, what was that?
Dog in there?
Not that I'm aware of.
That's the dog barking.
That was a dog bark.
Dan?
Uh-oh.
We'll just suspend the meeting.
You're supposed to jump right in and take care of that.
Maybe it's right outside
Yeah,
the
my,
door.
my assistant is doing it.
Yeah, let me make a call.
Alan's on that committee too. He's my
The
assistant.
sheriff jumped right up, I thought he was yours. Take care of that dog.
I've heard enough dog barking problems.
I'm just glad you're in charge.
Here.
Well, my wife's cell phone ringtone is that dog's barking.
We used to go to the
Well, that
furniture
gets
store
it.
and the guy that sold us furniture all the time could throw his voice. We'd get the kids in there and he'd do the dog deal. He did it once too often, though, scared the hell out of some lady and she fell over a chair and they sued the company, so he took it down. Just scared the snot right out of him. But the kids was cute. Anyway, so back at it.
Doing the barking.
Yeah.
Was it you,
Dale.
Mr. Barkley, that were doing the barking?
Barking.
I hope not.
That'll be later.
Barking. Okay, back to seriousness. Augie, do you wanna talk about your fees first and how you see the clerk's fees going? I know you've had a lot of time the last 3 or 4 days to review this.
Do you have, by any chance, before you start, do you have an extra copy of our agenda for this one, or not? If you don't, that's fine.
I don't have a copy of the bill.
I got one.
This is on 2/19/14. Do you have an extra?
I
That's
have an
fine.
extra agenda.
I've got it here, but it gives me something to write on, there. Sorry.
I thought I did. I don't.
Okay.
I've been off the computer since I got my emails now.
Thank
Oh, you're not.
Yeah, no.
What? I suppose we could go right down the list.
Right, I think
Let's
that's,
go right down the list.
you can mark it.
Yeah, let's see, what page is that? 5? I took 7, Tom.
Page
Thank
4.
I took mine out and blew it up so I could see it. Yes, page 7. Certified copies of birth certificates. We are below the actual cost. And then when we make, right now, when you see it's $14, and then while we're making the copies, we charge an extra $4. And according to the study, we significantly under our cost. So,
What do you wanna just recommend we go to 16? Do you wanna keep the fees even, where we can?
yeah, I prefer not to use change. Yes, we could go to 16, and it's sort of hard to justify 16 for every piece of paper that goes through there. But, I wouldn't be, I
It
wouldn't,
says your total actual cost is $16.32, so I don't know how that's not unjustifiable. To say 16, I understand what you're saying, Carl, but if
Yeah.
it's truly costing us that much money,
yeah. But, and the way I look at it, and maybe help me if I'm not seeing it right, but by the time I go and pull the book down off the shelf, unlock it, I've got all this time involved, but when I'm there, once I get it set up and I push the button on the copy machine, if I just push it again, I've already, you see what I'm saying? I'm already there. I don't have to go back and recreate that. I wouldn't be opposed to bumping it up. Well, 16 and 4 is 20, so you write me a check for $20 or $20 bill, and they get their certificate and a copy.
I don't know how Ravine County is doing it, but that it cost me 22 for Alex's birth certificate.
You know, while, it's not unrealistic, I don't think, to expect it to go up a little bit. I wouldn't hesitate to go to 16 on the original. And we could put 5 on the other one.
I just think it's ridiculous to hit another button and you charge them
All right.
$11 for just another
That
photocopy.
was my point. I didn't
Yeah.
want to do that.
Right.
But I'm not opposed to going from $4 to $5.
Right.
So I'll throw that out.
What do you think, Ellen? You're the other member.
I don't know, I mean, I'm not sure where that's at, but I do not, based on all those other stuff and what they told us, I don't think he also just pulled these figures out of the air. I mean, they came up with a total facilities fee from somewhere, and they came up with a total equipment fee, I'm assuming based on how much we're paying per copy, per paper, you know, the whole ball of wax, and how much it costs to operate. I mean, it doesn't make any difference, because what this, I think, does is allow people who's using this to pay for it. And it's that question of, are we making people who are actually using this service pay for it? Or are we all paying for this fee together? And that's just a question we have to make. That's just we just have to figure out what that happy medium is, because we all do things for each other. As a county, we do a lot of stuff for each other that not everybody gets benefit from. So,
Well, then why isn't the certified copy $16.32?
it is, isn't it?
You know,
That's what they're
10
asking for.
Well, no,
Yeah.
it is, but the next one, line number 2, additional copies.
Right, a birth certificate,
Why is that not 1632?
because I don't think it's a certified copy, is it?
Well, that has to be. You can't just get a copy. It has to be a certified copy.
Well, see, the reason it isn't is they've already deducted $5 in
All for
labor.
labor.
That's my point I was making earlier. And that-
See, they've already deducted, and I think we should keep in mind, we're not gonna be able to review these again for another 5 years. You know, increases are gonna continue, we're gonna have to take increases without any adjustments for another 5 years.
And we
So-
haven't raised these for how long? Might know.
Do what?
If you don't, when the last time they may
The
have
last
raised
fee
these been?
study was done 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, I'm not opposed to going to 10 or 11 bucks on an additional copy.
That's what the fee shows, I mean, that's what the study tells us.
I guess we gotta decide what our philosophy is behind what we're trying to accomplish.
So what's the fee now?
It's $14, and then while we're making it, if they wanted 2 of them, it's $4.
So you're gonna raise that?
So it's gonna go from $18 to $26
For 2 copies.
for 2 copies.
And it's just a photocopy.
No.
No, it's a certified.
No,
copy.
I've got the cost, they factored in the certificate paper.
Okay,
Yes.
so both of them would be
It's,
certificates.
Is that how that was actually listed here? Because why didn't they put additional certified copies there?
well, I don't know, that, they did additional copies,
Yeah.
birth certificate.
So any
but
copy you make, it's a certified
It
copy.
has to be, we
Right.
cannot
So
do,
you-
Yeah, I
vitals
understand.
cannot be
Right.
photostat
No, but
copies.
well, sometimes they do that though. They
Not-
may just cut, not from, maybe out of your office, but what I'm saying is like, I wonder if that's what was meant here.
No,
You know,
no.
like if you were just doing a service copy type thing. or-
My office will not photocopy any vital record. It will have to be certified
Right.
on
Okay.
certificate paper.
And that's where you're charging $4 now.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So, and that certificate paper, while I don't have that number in my head, is not cheap. Because it's blue, it's engraved, it's
Mhm.
fancy, and
You
it,
have to have a,
and then yeah, I've got a seal,
See,
and it
and that's-
goes on there.
I know that sounds weird, but those are all labor costs. I mean, there's a,
Well, we're in agreement on the 16 to start with, right? Okay, are we in agreement on 10 or 11 on the second item, which would be the additional certified copies?
myself, I'm going more toward the 10.
I don't know.
Carl?
I guess.
I go along with the 10, so the committee's recommending 10. You guys think differently?
Nope, I think it's reasonable.
Okay. Death certificate is 16 currently. They're recommending it should be $20.32. Is everybody all right with 20 there? Think it's unreasonable?
I got a question, Augie.
Okay.
Most people, like when they come in and get birth certificates, they always get more than one as a rule.
No. Sometimes what I hear is, oh, sure, when we sell that, oh, sure, while you're making it, give me a second one, I'll just hang on to it in case I need it. But some people say, I just want one because I need it for a passport
Right.
or,
On death certificates,
Mhm.
what's common
well,
to pick up? when they come
You
in?
said 1 or 2.
death certificates,
They'll get multiples.
Yeah, you
I
can
have-
have several of those.
I could make several at one time for the funeral homes will initially do that,
Mhm.
but then after that, individuals will come in and ask for a certified copy. Then normally it's just one, maybe 2, if they
Okay.
run out.
Mhm. All right.
So,
Augie, what's that mean where it says certified copies, death certificate, and then distributed for $4 versus there's not one up there on certified birth certificate, but there is on death? You know? Because I was looking at the extra amount. See, because he's saying the actual extra amount for copies of death is $14.94 versus $10.94, and the difference is
We should ask him.
$14.94, additional copies of death.
yeah. See, it's the first one right off the bat. It says $4. Distributed. I don't know what that
So
was.
where, wait, a minute.
Very
It's the
first
fourth line down.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, additional copies of death.
See, it's got $4 fee in there. That's what it's really costing.
Oh, there in that column,
Yeah,
I'm
and
sorry.
there's not one up there in the certified. So like, I was just looking at the additional ones. Once Carl
Why
said
that?
something, how much are additional ones? I mean, all of a sudden they're asking for $14.94 for additional ones, and they were only asking for $10.94 for birth
That's
certificates.
$4 out of there.
So I
Got it.
didn't know what that, and it didn't make any difference, we don't know. I-
Yeah,
Um,
just,
Okay. In there, if you look down
Okay.
in, below the chart,
Okay.
$2 of that death certificate is a surcharge.
oh,
And then to the, it just goes to state, and $2 goes to the cemetery oversight fund.
Is that, do you think those are, that's the $4
I
amount?
think that's the
for up
$4.
there?
they have to
Okay.
be distributed to
Those have to
other
be
funds.
distributed.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
I got
yeah,
you.
I didn't catch it right away.
I didn't know what that was, thanks.
I
Okay,
would,
additional copies, what do you wanna do?
Well, I mean, is this something that we have to,
No.
that $4 we're having to pay, I mean, right? Or
oh
somebody
yeah,
that-
oh yeah, we don't, when we have to send that out, there's nothing for us.
Here's where I lean more toward like feeling sorry for somebody because they had somebody who died. I'm not sure that's worth it.
Well, remember, we're having to give away $4 even of that additional certified
Exactly.
copy.
I know it.
So right now, we're charging $4 and giving away $4.
That's what I
We're
think.
we're making a dime.
20 and 10.
We're
Yeah, we're in big
not, we're not attempting to make any money, we're attempting.
I mean, that's
We
a
don't wanna
bad way
lose,
to
though.
put it.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. We're not
But- and that's why I said
recovering,
that.
we're not recovering any of our costs.
Yeah.
That really comes down to like, once again,
Yeah.
are we all paying for the ones who need it? And we all do, or do we?
What about 20 and 12? Because we're paying out, I don't
If you sell on
I'm
the
flexible
state,
on that,
you-
because you're only charging half of that amount that you had, that we're actually paying, right? Out of the 4, you're only really kicking in 2.
if you settle on the state, everybody wants a death certificate.
Right.
When you go and you think I need 2, then you end up needing 7.
Well, and if you've got insurance policies, every insurance policy wants a certified death certificate.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of them from the funeral home when my mom passed away. They just, I assume I
They
paid for it
pass along
somehow.
the cost,
Yeah.
but you pay
Yeah,
for
you
it.
Right.
paid for it, so I'm just saying, make sure you charge enough for those extra copies.
Alan,
Yeah, I'm flexible, 12. I mean,
12?
2010 is what I say, but you guys enjoy it.
Well, if we do 10, we're only recovering $6 of our cost.
Well, if someone comes in and wants half a dozen of them, that's just a lot of money when you're sitting there making. That's my philosophy. You know, whether you do 1 or 7, it's really not a whole lot more work.
Yeah.
And I hate to gig someone. That's my,
Okay.
I understand what
that's
you're-
how I feel.
I understand what you're saying, but on certified,
You guys
it's
are
not
right.
just going to the copy machine and making a copy.
You guys
You
are
can't just
all
go to
really
the copy
questioning
machine.
what these guys put down as our actual cost.
I'm
Apparently,
not.
I mean, because you don't wanna charge that, so you're saying we'll take a little bit of a hit, right? If these are real and truly our actual cost.
Well, we gotta trust that part.
we have to
But
pay.
you just can't go to the copy machine, Augie, and make certified birth certificates or death certificates. That's my point. It's not like pressing another button.
Yeah, it's not like going to just a file and putting it on the copy
Right.
machine and you're done.
No, you're
There's
actually,
computer work, there's time and,
You
Maybe
gotta
we should
click,
go
you
to
gotta
twenty
punch,
fifteen, if we
you got a
paid these
separate
guys-
paper, you got a separate,
Pay them to do the study.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
paid them to do the
right.
study, and now we're not following
And
it.
your point is, we won't do this for 5 more years.
Right, so maybe we ought to be at twenty
And
fifteen,
each one of these, if we change, also
or
costs.
14, whatever.
Each one of these, if we change the fees, then that, don't we have to pay them an extra amount, bill letter?
no,
No,
Okay.
we're done with
We're
that.
done.
we've already
All right,
paid them,
okay.
I think.
Yes, we paid.
I
Well,
just,
under
I
that
remember
philosophy,
saying
we ought to
something
be
about
looking
so
at
much for
14.
change or something.
I think that's closer to the right amount. So is everybody about thinking about 2014? If you're trying to get it closer to that true amount for the cost, because it's not really just pressing a copy button.
I agree with you.
Okay, 2014. The next item we're actually over. Are we required to lower it, or should we just leave it the same?
No.
He said it could be $75 by state law.
That's right,
Oh, okay.
that is right. That's the cheapest thing you can do to get, when you get married.
It's all downhill from there.
It's all downhill.
Put that in
No,
the
no,
paper.
that's not what I meant, Gary.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, what do you recommend then?
Well, the statute gives the authority to go to 75 without any kind of a study. And I see people coming in right and left with marriage license. Oh, is that it? And I think it's that it takes us, we have much more time. We have a lot more time involved in doing a marriage license than we do birth or death certificates.
And it shows that you should have at least twice as much time.
Yeah, at least, yes.
I mean, based on how much we're costing out.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it could take 20, 30 minutes. I mean, if you want to get down into the trenches, where a birth certificate or a death certificate, assuming all goes smoothly, you can be in and out of there in 10 minutes.
What do you recommend?
Well, I would like to see you at least go to 50. At least. And then we still have the authority to move it anytime we want, if in a few years we see that we still have room to, because by statute, you can go to 75 anytime without a cost study. See what I'm saying? I think it's an area that,
That would be similar if you went to, 48 would be 3 times the amount. If you're saying it takes 10 minutes if everything goes well for a birth certificate, and we're doing that at 16, it takes 30 minutes if everything goes well for a marriage license. And that'd be 48, so that's pretty close to your 50.
and then,
We were going by their costs, what they said it cost us on the others, and now we're saying they're wrong on this one?
No, I'm saying I see where he comes up with these 50. in the
that's just
reality.
my ballpark off
3 times.
top of my head, and I know a lot of clerks around the state have gone to, they've taken it right to 75. Now, not everybody has, but
Maybe this is where if we're pretty well on target, or
If you're
actually
on
behind
target,
a little
leave
bit, but we just need to project what we think we're gonna be in 5 years.
Mhm.
That's what we need to do then, right? So maybe it's not 50, I don't know, or maybe next year, if we can do this one every year, maybe next year if you think we're gonna,
Reassess.
if we're gonna be higher than that even next year, then you can jump that up a little bit every time if you want to. You jump that up by $5 a year, if you think you're already,
If you apply a 3% to it, it'd be $37. But that's not add-on every, yeah, that is, that'd be $37.
yeah, that's what the current cost is right now,
current cost.
is $30 and a penny.
Right.
Yeah, noticing
Mhm.
And it says he's act,
Big
and we're actually at 32, and that's,
Like round numbers.
Yeah, go 40.
flexibility. I'm not sure I wanna jump all the way up to 50 right off the bat. If that's the type of thing we have flexibility in doing on a yearly basis, if we can remember that next year to go back and see if we had major changes or major things.
I think of 35.
Yeah, I mean, something, because I think it's gonna cost you more every year. That's my only concern about all these, and if it's the one we don't have to worry about for 5 straight years.
Carl?
30.
Well, it's 32 right now. You wanna reduce it?
Yeah, he's trying
The
to
actual
reduce
total
all
cost that he said we can justify is $30. I know we have the authority to go to 75, but this study says 30.
I would probably lean more toward the 35. Not the 50, but I'd lean more toward the 35. But we have that flexibility.
It's kind of middle of the road.
Well, because also we're not going up the full amount on all the rest of them so far. That's what the study said here. I mean, we're losing.
Close, we're
nothing.
rounding it down.
Well, I'm saying we're losing 32 cents on the first one, we're losing 94 cents.
Right.
We're losing 32 cents, we're losing another 94 cents.
35.
So,
35. 35 cents.
Okay, the next one is the copies.
If you come in and then after your license has been issued, then you come in after you're married and get a certified copy of that marriage license.
Okay.
It's a separate timing issue, obviously. You get your license, you go get married, then you come back in. So currently, it's $12. They say our cost is $16.
Now, can we move that one, or is that one stuck? Is that the same as the other one? You know, we can raise it up to $75.
No, no,
This is,
right,
so it's saying we should be charging
$16.32.
additional cost to the 12, right?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry,
No,
you're right, I'm
just
sorry,
replace
I'm
the
sorry.
12 with the,
So $16?
that's the recommendation.
So get your license, get married in the courthouse, and go to your office before we go out the door. One stop. Unless
Get one on the beach while they're there.
Okay.
I think you should offer that package.
Carl, are you all right with the 16? Business registration change. We're currently charging 5, it recommends we charge 23.
What does that involve?
Well, that is the assumed business name. If you want to operate a business in Edgar County, you come in and you fill out some paperwork, and then that has to be published in the newspaper for 3 consecutive weeks to let the public know that now you're doing business.
Paid by the business owner. Business
The
owner pays
business
for the
owner
ad.
will have to pay for that advertising, but in a separate bill.
And this is state law.
Yes. Yes.
So
But
how
we have
much-
to, we have to take the information, we have to fill out the form, and just monitor the progress, and then, they bring back in a certified publisher's statement, and then we complete the paperwork and then give them we'll give them a document, paper, that says, now you're doing business as, that type of thing. So,
And that's picked up on the credit sheet, didn't it? Credit report. Don't I see those on there?
well, not
I thought
for
I'd
new
seen
businesses.
I thought I'd seen some on
Well, you may see a lot of those on that credit
there. Well, I'm
report.
just wondering, how many do you have in a year, I guess, it might eat up.
How many those a year? Oh, I don't know. Well, you know,
Well, I mean, ballpark,
I don't know. That's a good question.
that would help you set the fee, I would think.
That's the actual cost.
I wouldn't think you'd have very many credits.
You'd
No,
be
but I've got
surprised.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
You'd
I've
be
gotten that
surprised
credit
the number
report
of
for
people that
years.
come in and wanna start a
That's
business.
why I asked, because I see a lot on there, I'm like, well, this must be a
Yeah,
big deal.
and then, It's a lot of small, obviously, self-employed,
Yes.
sole proprietorship type businesses, and and unfortunately, several, a lot of those don't make it.
Yeah.
They close down.
About 80%.
That, if you're looking to move along here,
Yeah.
I'm certainly would not oppose to taking that to $23 or $20. I think
Let's stick with the recommendation if we can.
$23.
I mean, if we're gonna be consistent, let's be consistent.
Okay, all right. And then if you decide you want to withdraw that name, and at some point in the process, or you just say, you know what, I'm closing this down, then
That would be 12.
that would be cool.
Notary certification in person. We don't do a whole lot of those, do we?
We do a lot of notaries,
Do you?
yes.
What's the bank's charge?
No, you have to come in person to get your notary certificate. It's all done through the state, and we send the information on, and then they send the certificate to us. They have to come in and then sign their name, and it goes in our record book.
You're saying this is to become a notary?
This is to
Oh,
become a notary, not to
Okay.
charge for notary service.
Okay.
We don't charge for notary services in my office.
Okay.
That's a free service.
So we're talking $12 then, 25. Tax certification in person, or.
Tax
Yeah,
redemption.
Exemption, I skipped lines there, guys, sorry.
Okay.
Is there any reason not to go 64 on that? Raffle? Do we even,
I might do 1 or 2 raffles a year to raise money for something, but
Not every raffle bothers you with that, does it?
but not every person that does a raffle bothers me with that.
well, 18?
So it looks like, did we have 118 of those last year then? On that?
Didn't have any.
It can-
Am I on the wrong thing? Where am I at? I'm not on, what do we do on tax
Second
redemption?
from the bottom.
I'm just tax redemption.
Tax
64.
redemption went to
60,
64.
oh, I'm sorry, okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I bet we don't have 2 maybe 2 raffles.
18?
Yes. A take notice fee, that's all part of the tax redemption, delinquent tax cycle that we go through. We have to mail out certified notices that basically say, take note, your property is being sold. So,
Well, we're not
yeah, right.
near recovering what we should be.
That is correct.
So 20? Okay, then general, a recorder, general. What's that, Hookie?
When you record, the standard recording would consist of a deed, $48, and then for the first 4 pages, and then, oh my goodness, I think it's $2 for any extra page if you have a mortgage that follows that,
Gotcha.
liens, whatnot.
So this would be every page, or this would be
No,
the
this would be-
total document?
This would be the standard 4-page recording of that document.
So, is anybody opposed to going to $66?
What do they recommend?
$66.
What
66.28.
is it now?
It is
48.
48.
Not that much of a
Hearing none, it's 66. Okay, I know we don't all agree on everything on here, but can we move on to the sheriff, or are we all right? Okay, we'll move on to the sheriff. The sheriff, and that's page 9. The sheriff is recommending bond fees of 38,
Hang on a second, please. Which page?
page 9.
Page 9.
He's recommending $38 on the bond fee. Any objections to that? And the sheriff's here to answer any questions. Fingerprints, 23. Background, 10. Inmate doc visit, 40.
Does the insurance pay anything on, like, okay,
Those kind of things we usually tack onto the fine,
okay.
then they end up paying it later.
But if they have like lab tests or something done, about what you're saying, say emergency room,
If we take them there, if they have insurance, yes, they'll pay for it. If they have Medicare, they'll pay for it. If not, we tack everything else onto our account. On the
Yeah.
inmate record, put it into the fine, and hopefully they'll pay.
do
I mean,
do
the fine that the judge will assess them.
you recover most of that, or, that's what I'm gonna say? Okay.
Actually, I got $100 the other day from one of them.
Oh, there?
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I know lab tests are very expensive, that's what I was asking,
When he gives Medicare rates.
so. Or Medicaid too?
supposed to.
Okay.
Okay, Carol, inmate prescription, we don't have any, we don't deal with that at all?
We charge the inmate for it. I don't, it's actual cost.
Its actual cost is what we charge, so we're not making anything over, not making, but recovering anything
We
over.
try to recover what we pay out from the medical. I'd rather not charge them at $9 each time, because it might be a $5 charge.
So just actual cost.
But again, if they don't have it, it goes to the fine. Because the board already approved the resolution for all the medical stuff.
And that also includes an inmate over the counters, I'm sorry.
Now, do you get that at, before they leave, if they got money, or you just,
Our new commissary program now sets it up where, let's say they get $100 in, they owe me $15, well, it deducts it automatically on the $100.
then they only have 85 to spend on commissary, we get our money first. That's good.
But if they have $100 bill and get 50,
Right.
we still get $5.
Right.
It's set up, I'll tell you that, it's set up for 25%
Percent.
every time whatever money they
Yeah.
get, so.
Everybody clear on that? And then over the counter is the same way.
Over the counters, usually they ask for the stuff, but we take that out of commissary, so it doesn't, that's their money anyway.
Okay, so we don't, we're not, okay. Civil process, you're recommending 45 instead of 47 as they are?
Yeah, but actual cost is what right now? What do we
Actual
get?
cost is $47.50.
What are we getting now,
We're
30,
getting
20?
29.
It's time to move on.
You went for a while.
It's been a long time.
You
I
wanna
don't
go
want
to
to.
47? You don't want,
If you can, that's fine.
we can.
45. sounds good.
45,
Even number.
okay.
Actually, it's not.
200.
It's odd number.
It's an odd.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's why I said 200, he's gonna call
We're giving us-
45 an even number.
How many prime numbers are in, never mind.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Escort to
I'm not
court.
saying-
Hold it, where did you
Oh,
end
can
up
charge
there?
it to
45, sorry. Escort to court.
How much are you gonna charge? Charge them in it?
Ghostbusters.
Huh?
No,
I can't put that on another fine.
I
I just say leave it at B. We don't charge them now.
that's right.
are you with that, Carl?
Yes.
So help me out on that, what is,
Yeah.
what is this?
That's why I go back and forth to court.
And so we're not gonna charge them anything?
Well, if I take 10.
I need to run the escort.
Who am I gonna
Just
charge?
say, I don't want one.
All of them?
All of them?
Charge the
Oh my God.
I'll
meet you over there.
Charge each
Charge
one
the
of them.
inmate.
I
Yeah,
don't
10
think.
going,
Yeah,
charge
that's
each
gonna be
one,
there.
is that what you said?
Well, is he gonna start charging when he goes in an accident? You bet, maybe owe me $20 to do an accident, you owe me $20 to go charge a burglar
Thank you.
alarm.
Well, speaking of accidents, we're gonna start making money on those.
No,
I say it
we
like
need to
that.
rely on our pros here. I mean,
Right.
Yeah,
But
but
they
and
can't
also,
always-
once again, how much are we doing for the county good? And how much are we doing for people who are using the service? Doesn't make any difference, just
They
as long as
can't,
we're
they
on.
can't afford the bond. How they gonna afford another
I think that
$25?
thermostat kicked
I
off.
don't know.
State doesn't charge them
Shut-
traveling back.
shut
and
off again.
forth, so I disagree on charging
I'm
them.
not getting any more, right?
okay, it's zero.
Where do they get the idea that it cost us $23.44 to do that?
The officer walking back and forth time probably.
Yeah.
He gets paid anyway, right? I mean, he's
Sorry.
getting paid anyway, the officer is, right?
It's a part-time officer.
Yeah.
But so
It's
is.
coming out of the
all
tax
duties, so
general
are we.
fund money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
general fund,
Right.
right.
I mean, the sheriff's got over $1 million budget, you know, we can't, every little thing he does, I,
992.
Okay, eviction standby. Currently, we're not charging anything. The sheriff's recommending that we charge 50. Okay?
It's just like somebody being evicted from an apartment or house or what you
Yeah,
said.
that one I wanna see, cause we'll go
Yeah, I
out
was
there
gonna say,
and
yeah, I was
nobody
gonna say
shows
this,
up.
you make the call, right?
We'll get,
They'd understand.
Okay.
I'm okay with it, cause, I mean, it's his time staying there waiting to evict somebody.
So
Nobody shows
where do we
up.
get that money from?
That comes from the attorney.
Okay. I mean, I didn't know.
Whoever's
Whoever's doing the
eviction.
eviction.
The person that is asking to evict somebody, or
Yeah, that, I'm just,
and
They
how,
call us and they say, we need you there because we're gonna evict or we need to change the locks. They're just standing there, so.
oh, you're saying they don't show up, not the people that they wanted to evict?
Oh, forget that, I'm not talking about the eviction people.
Yeah.
The landlord doesn't show up.
Landlord or the attorney or the locksmith or something.
Did you hear that, just on a sidebar, that I think it's Champaign or Urbana is gonna start charging for ambulance and fire calls, whether they're legitimate or not?
There's some logic in that.
Well, I'm just,
Well, Paris charges if you, it's a false
well, yeah, but I mean, they're even
So,
gonna
like-
charge.
The logic
for-
is,
on this one, though,
it's on the
let's
books,
fix,
the
let's,
insurance
let's
company's
pick
paying.
on Fast Eddie for a while, not Fast
Which
Eddie,
is
but
all-
Fast Eddie, we know, he's got
Hmm?
all the departments.
Which is all of us.
So if he says, I need you to come and take Gary out of there,
We don't take them
not,
out.
I think, what's the deal then? I mean, like, so
We stand there and
you're staying there waiting for that to happen. So then, you're not charging Gary, you're charging Ed?
talk to Fast Eddie.
Yeah.
You're talking about the other
Yeah.
department.
Yeah, you're gonna charge him $50
He's
to
the
go
one
out
that
and do that
started,
service.
he's the one that started the civil process.
Okay,
But a lot of us,
Then
are
I'll
real.
go back to the devil's advocate side of that and say, if I'm that person saying, well, wait a minute, I wasn't the wrong one here, but I'm paying for somebody in the county to do their job.
No.
I don't know, see, I'm just, follow me on that line, Carl?
Welcome to the rental business.
Yeah, I
I mean, you're
mean,
getting it all.
I'll put it this way, I'm tying up a deputy that I don't
oh, I
have to roll
understand
now.
that. Hey,
I'm just trying.
You're
I'm
saying
with you on
the,
that
the
call.
bad guy, the guy getting evicted should be.
well, I don't know,
Yes.
but what I'm saying is that's just a service, I think, that as somebody in the community, it's gonna say, just like on these other ones you're concerned about, that same person is gonna say, you know, I'm paying some pretty good taxes here, if nothing else, I own real estate, I'm doing this, and this guy's against the law, or he's supposed to already be out.
Come in and get a good background check.
Yeah, you know, and we're asking, we're calling the sheriff or the city police or whoever it would be and say, you know, I need to have you here because he's refusing to leave, is that kind of what usually happens? So if I'm calling somebody else because they're refusing to leave my property, do we charge them?
It's eviction.
That's what he's saying.
I know the eviction, and that's what I'm saying, but even if it's not an eviction, Jeff's on my property and I want him gone and he's refusing to leave,
He's
I call
trespassing.
you and I say,
that's trespassing.
but isn't he also trespassing if he's not supposed to be in there?
No.
No? He's
Not
not?
the way they're civil,
Okay.
no.
Okay,
It's
are
a
we
long
okay?
process.
Do you own a lot of property?
No, but
He was thinking
I'm just
about
I'm just trying to throw the other side of that shoe out there.
Are you for or against the $50?
70, no, yeah.
That concludes our recommendation. I would like to have ask the members of the committee, which is Alan and Carl and I, to move that along. Are you in favor of recommending the changes to the board that we've just processed?
I'll take that motion.
And Carl?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It'll pass on to the county board at the next meeting. And if you have any questions, I've got it written down, and so does
I have it written down.
Alan, and I think Carl's got it written down.
I have it
so
on tape,
We should, okay, yeah, you do have
and
it.
Mr. Chairman, sir,
Please.
there are sample resolutions in the back end. I will have those prepared for the board, just so you know.
And I'd like to thank you and the sheriff for being here and helping us get through that. We very much appreciate
Like
it.
that coffee.
The,
Buying coffee.
the next item on our agenda is the salary resolutions for the sheriff, county clerk, and treasurer, and Dan and Ben, you should have gotten copies of past resolutions in those papers I handed you at the beginning when I walked in. You will see that it has a packet here. I appreciate it.
Should have.
The two packets.
Oh, real quick, we have two bills from insurance attorneys. One is from our attorney on the dog deal, it's 11,000 some odd dollars. We have another bill from the sheriff's attorney, McGuire, and that is in the amount up to current,
Give it to me.
I see.
You look at it.
Once that's paid,
is $3,486. So it's pretty much in line with, go ahead, Carl.
The dog,
No, this is the process with,
one's the arbitration, the other is the.
Right.
right,
This is dog, that was Dee's dog.
one is,
so we haven't got it, previously haven't got a bill from that attorney?
Not the one that represented us. I think that's it.
I mean, the dog.
Okay,
I'm
We
sorry,
paid,
go
they
ahead.
paid off, I guess, Dee and his attorney.
right.
But
And
we
then we had
paid-
to hire another attorney
Right, that represented, which was.
Well, Mark-
in court,
In
when we
court.
went to,
We didn't go to court.
No,
well, I was gonna go through federal court.
Mark couldn't do it.
Mark couldn't do it,
Yeah.
we hired this guy. for
Right.
it.
you we've met in Kyle
Yeah.
Wester, and this is
And
the,
they got it resolved
right,
Before
without,
that,
went to court.
and that's 11,806.
And the insurance company paid his attorney.
you know, they have, don't they?
You know, they'll pay this too, right?
Right,
Yeah,
we'll,
I'm just
we'll
saying
run
that's-
this through the
yeah.
same way. The
Right.
one I specifically, McGuire has put in, a
I guess,
state,
I understand, McGuire. It's the other one. We'll submit that to the insurance company and then that, okay.
yes. And then, but I want it
Oh, I see.
broken down into two amounts
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
One is arbitration, nature of service is $32.50, and then sheriff summons and et cetera, and overnight responses and talking to Weathers is $236 for extra fees. So it's $34.86. I just want to make sure everybody understood what you got billed for, okay?
You can hang on to those if you want, I don't need a package.
All right,
He wants to see
go
what
ahead.
Are they need to be paid now, you're
Well,
saying?
next time we do demand,
Oh,
not demand,
sure.
Next board meeting?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect, I got you. So if you want to see these, go over Carl.
make sure I get that one back.
That's, I think,
Vicky, otherwise she'll.
Social Security.
Oh, we don't want to- Okay, I have them, okay?
Yeah.
All right,
Sometime I gotta talk to you. about
Social
something.
Security has been back
I got you.
3% a year until.
Okay, I did talk to Augie and to, Don, and you have Don's response, I think is the third page in. And I tried to get them to as many people as I could last night. And I think I got them to 3 of you plus me. So we need to deal with 3 office holders, the county clerk, the treasurer, and the sheriff this time. So Augie has kind of put down his thoughts, and you can see that they have gone without any increases for the last 4 years. And it shows you that the circuit clerk and the coroner, in the previous round, we just gave increases, and they had gone the previous 4 years without increases. So both groups of office holders have gone for 4 years without increases. Okay, that's basically what it. Anyway, so we need to deal with that issue and propose that to the full board. And so I guess we need to kind of look at how we want to approach it.
So you got a copy of that, Ben?
Just, I'm looking at Dan, or Don's thing.
That's
That was-
Don's right there.
So what was I supposed to look at?
Well, that's just, I mean, we
Okay.
need to see how we're gonna approach it. And, go ahead.
Would it be more comfortable for you if I left? I'm just asking.
Well, maybe, but I don't think so right now, from my standpoint. Because I'd kind of like to ask some questions about how
Please.
this,
So, I mean,
how
certainly,
this came around. I mean, if you don't put, kind of put you on the spot, you're the only one here, Og. I mean,
yeah,
if I'm looking at this and we, the office holders have
6
not
months
had
before the election.
a raise in it since.
For 4 years.
4 years.
it will be for 4 years,
Right.
at the
Okay,
end of this year,
okay.
Pretty close.
So,
Do we have to do this 6 months before the election?
yes.
So when's that drop dead deadline?
The drop dead deadline will be the May board meeting,
Okay,
but it's actually June 1st.
okay.
That's 180 days before you take the office.
okay, that's what I'm asking.
So you got
I'm
April,
sorry,
you got
I
May.
interrupted you.
Okay.
What I'm trying to figure out then is like the cycle of 2010 to 2014. There wasn't anyways. What about the cycle from 2006 then basically to 2010? Do we know about that one? Curious.
I wasn't part of
Ben,
that
do you
one.
remember any part of that at all?
What's that?
The cycle from 2006 to 2010, was there any consideration for, was there an increase?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it was $1,000 a year is what it was, period, just $1,000
So
a year.
each year, like 2006, they got 1,000
Yeah.
or more than what it
Yeah.
was in 2000.
It wasn't 3% then?
No percentage, it was just $5,000.
Okay.
Why is he wanting to do 5, 4, 3, and 2? I guess is my question. What's the reasoning behind that?
I don't know. I can't speak for him. So I don't. I can speak for me. I wasn't asked to present anything. I guess I volunteered. Well, you
Well,
did.
we talked.
We did and we didn't, but yeah. So I just took the standard 3%, which seems to be pretty standard for raises, and just went back from day one and just showed it each year for the next 8 years.
Well, that's what he goes on to say the average is 3.5, so that's.
Okay, so I don't know. I haven't looked at Don's paper, so I don't know what that.
It's 3.5 over the last 4, or 1.75 over the last 8. But
He's talking about catch-up then.
I'm talking about catch-up. Is that what, is Don
Yeah,
going
he-
forward?
Yeah, he was starting off, I think, with 5, 4,
Yeah, he's
Which
going
is-
5, 4, 3.
Which
and
is his
2.
method of catching up.
right, and you used a different method, which,
But the method 5, 4, 3, 2,
That's
1.
an average of 3.5.
for 4 years.
For 4 years, or one, right, so it's,
Yours is kind of
For
3%.
8 years,
according
to
over
Dawn,
eight,
it's
his is
1.75.
1.75 over 8.
thank you. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you now.
Well, the 1.75, he's getting that by using 0, and it really doesn't enter into it. I'm just curious why he went 5, 4, 3, and 2 instead of just 3.5.
Well,
Yeah,
'cause-
you're right.
well, you know what, if I'm doing it, I know why I do that. I'd much rather
Okay,
have
money
5% up front, because then anything I cue after that is off the 5% off the
Based
front.
on 5%.
But you'll spend it all, and you'll be,
I have a chance to spend it. Wait a minute, wait a minute.
I mean, your wife.
If somebody says, I'm gonna let you, I'll farm your ground for $400 an acre.
They can have it.
Yeah, you're gonna take that, aren't you? However.
That's what I've been making.
And then all of a sudden they say, oh, and then we're gonna go with 3-2.
I know, given some history, back when I was sheriff, the first 8 years, this was starting in 90, if, off the top of my head, I would think it was around a 3%, I think a 3% raise each of the first 8 years. And then the last 4 years was $1,000. Because, you know, there again, it was the treasurer, county clerk, and sheriff, and all of us got 1,000. Prior to that, it was 3%. Back then, you know, the sheriff's salary was $7,000 or $8,000 higher than the county clerk and the treasurer. And I think now it's close to $10,000. And if we, you know, keep going percentage-wise, you know, 15 or 20 years from now, the sheriff's gonna be 20,000 higher.
Right.
You know, you know, he just, you keep getting higher, and that's,
Well, Don's separation would be driving up to 10, 11,000.
pardon,
Under what Don's proposing, it would put the separation roughly 10, 11,000.
but if you keep doing percentages each
It's
year.
always gonna do that, if you do percentages, it's gonna go.
You know, that's why, in my opinion, I'd rather just do so much, not percent, for all three of them, just come up with a,
Okay, fine, that's what we're here for.
To do a percent or not do a percent, Carl?
not to do a percent. Because I did figure, if you're going by Don's proposal, over the 4 years, it would be a $6,345 increase.
For Dawn?
For sure.
For,
For sheriff.
for county clerk and treasurer. For the sheriff, I think, I don't have those figures, it was almost $8,000.
I can tell you, yeah,
It
it's,
was significantly
I've got it
higher,
right
but
here.
he's already 10,000, or not quite 10,000. It's close,
it would be 8200.
yeah. And, you know, it's just every cycle, it's just gonna keep getting bigger and bigger, you know, if you go percentage wise.
So, do we wanna try to come up with something today so we can get this to rest, or you want Augie to leave the room for a few minutes so we can discuss it?
I wouldn't mind that, just, so we have a chance, because I think that's very legitimate
Can-
under.
Can you do that, or you have
executive
to go to executive
Yeah,
we
session?
have to go to executive session.
Yeah,
You can't.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh,
yeah. That's why I thought maybe Paul, you wanted to say something, that's why I asked you
Yeah.
ahead of time. If there's anything you want to add to your thoughts, or your thoughts on that.
no, maybe an executive session, I would talk.
Oh. Yeah, that's a possibility. We can always invite people in
Yeah.
to a closed session. So, and that's a perfect timing for that too, because that's a dealing with personnel.
Do I have a motion from you
I would make that motion.
for the reason of salaries and personnel?
Yeah, whatever we need to say for that.
We'll discuss this, the setting of salaries for the county clerk, record, well, it's got too many on here, at any rate.
Yeah.
County clerk, treasurer, and sheriff.
Well, yeah, or you don't, I mean, you could even do more than that. Depending on what's in there, hopefully you maybe be
Just
talking
holler on
about
the circuit clerk.
more
That's her job.
in general.
No, that's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had it on here somewhere, I got too many pages.
You're losing on the percentage, you don't wanna
You
do,
and Don, basically,
So we talked about when we were in here.
Dawn
you don't wanna do a 3 or 3.5%
and,
annually.
and me.
So
The sheriff's
so all
in our rotation.
I
said
We're elected
last
this
board meeting, it said we were
Two
on
years.
the
Sheriff,
sheriff.
all of them get
Every 2
bigger and
years.
bigger.
Then the circuit clerk and the
Here it is.
attorney.
I got it now.
Well,
Corner of the
I know,
Bible.
but he's already at 10, if you do the same percentage, he's gonna stay.
No.
Yeah, I'd like to go into closed session, discuss the employment compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're now in exec session, we'll wait for Augie to set us up.
I should have other agendas
I got
extra.
Here.
You got it? All right. I know I got it here somewhere, here's here.
Was that clear on what we were talking about on the salaries? You understand? Is it Rusty coming back?
I do have agendas. Who needs one?
it.
Carl, you need one?
I got mine off the internet, it's crap.
I did too.
My internet was
Make
down.
one, so get three. and
Bill, you want one?
Gonna be an exec session.
No, it's all right.
And then, you know, go into exec
Yeah,
session.
give him one.
Okay.
I don't think 4 through 6.
He made a motion.
There's be an exec session.
Test on it later, so you know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Discussions and
Sure,
negotiations.
go in the right order.
Want one here? Take one, pass it down. Alan, I don't know if I have one, but I'll give him one.
Bruce on papers.
Yeah, look at it.
It's
I've got mine all missed.
Paper nightmare, Rick.
Killing trees.
You very much.
Hey, shut that door, it's warmer.
Yeah.
that door open. I'm kidding you guys.
I'm
Standing there like this, maybe.
No.
See that pink shirt?
Try to be a good moderator. Maybe we'll have to go.
We call the meeting to order. Public comment? No public comment. Discuss farm leases for fiscal year 2015. Jeff, you want to talk about that?
Yeah,
Skip number 3.
we switched
Yeah.
because
Okay,
we'll-
all right, that's right.
we're not following exactly the order, which is our prerogative. Current farm leases, I put that in your packet. You should see, just a real short page. It shows that Jared Dyer and his dad, Phil, are leasing 81.5 acres, Brad Tucker 109, and Darren Craig 4 acres at the maps listed. Talked to the state's attorney. When you were absent, Ben asked me to talk to him and clarify where we were in the situation. He is unequivocal. He's positive that we need to. I hate that. He's positive that we need to advertise and bid the leases. Now, this would be, if we did it now, this would be for the year starting December 1st, 14 through the following year. We have to decide these things, however, because there are farm laws that say you can't just go up to them in December or January and say this is what it's gonna be. So we wanted to try to deal with this early enough. Now, the state's attorney did say we could bid 81.5 acres and 109, or we could bid the total of those two. We can do piecemeal and then ask for a total bid, okay? The reason I'm excluding, and I talked to him about this, Darren Craig's, is because that's stuck way on the other side on a field that has nothing to do with these other acreages. In fact, it's barely farmable, as I understand from Carl. That's why there's a difference in what he's being charged.
And landlocked, isn't it?
And it's
I mean, you can't
You can only
access
get
it.
to them from their field, is that right?
Well,
No, it's not landlocked.
No.
It's a 4 acre notch out of like a 10 or 15 acre field. And all they needed a control of the airspace above it.
right.
And that's why it.
I think they tore some buildings
They
down
may have, I don't know.
and buried some stuff, so it's not ideal and it's small and
There's always a part of the field that surrounds it that belongs to the Craig family.
right.
Or the Miller family, I'm not sure.
So, when you're farming 4 acres, you can't, you just lose. So that's why they got the reduced rate.
And the state's attorney said,
That's not a problem. Now, I did ask him, I said, since, these areas are separated, he said, again, you'd be better off being totally transparent, bid it, no favoritism, no nothing, you need to bid it. Now, he did say that we could bid it for multiple years, which makes sense because you can't bid a farmer for 1 year and have him take care of the ground. That is an ongoing process. So I don't know whether we want to do a 3 or a 5 or what you want to do. I know the University of Illinois does several different kinds of programs. So I just open it up for how you want to approach it.
Yeah. I guess right at this point, we're just making you guys aware of it but, I guess we need to notify the people that are farming it that we are gonna take it out for bids next year and we're gonna have to come up with some kind of bid proposals and, we've gotta deal with the fertility and, there's different things. It's part of this with Brad Tucker's, I know because of FAA regulations, he's gonna be restricted on what type of crops he can run. Basically, tall crops, corn, some of that area up there, he can't plant corn. It's
It's only
it's
beans and wheat.
beans and wheat,
That would
or
have to
hay
be,
or
hay.
whatever, but,
Right.
it can't be a tall crop. So that's something we're gonna have to deal with on some of these farms here.
So it's gonna be a cash rent bid.
That's the way we see it
Yeah.
at this point.
You gonna address soil testing somewhere?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, you're on this meeting
Yeah.
too.
Yes. So, that's something we need to be thinking about and maybe
Right.
get some ideas on what we, and
No, you can't bid it down.
Who writes the bid, or do you have to write a
Yeah.
contract to?
Yeah,
There'll be a
Yes.
proposal, a bid
Yeah.
notice,
Okay.
right.
and then a contract.
That's something over the next couple of months, you know, we have to start working on, have it
Yeah.
ready by
Or
before
sooner.
fall.
I got something actually, there's 15 certified labs in the state of Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We can discuss that.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, you never know what's gonna come up late summer, so it's something that we probably should be dealing with
Right.
in April and May, and maybe to the end of, maybe getting June to get the bids in and make a decision.
One
So
of the things
that's,
also, to
Wouldn't-
make sure
wouldn't
these guys
be-
know that we're.
You have to notify them people
Yeah.
by August.
September.
I thought it
September.
was-
Yeah,
Do that.
September, October, yeah.
As soon
sometime,
as
either
possible
late September.
myself, I mean,
Yeah.
just to be
Yeah.
fair to them.
Well, they're gonna kinda have an idea, because we can't,
Okay.
you know,
I mean, they're already, in the past, we talked about bidding it out, and I've had discussions with, I haven't talked with Darren Craig, but the others I've talked with, and, you know, they're aware that at some point we might be
I
doing
talked to
that.
Darren about this a little bit, so I told him not to freak when he read the paper,
Right.
okay? It'd be nice to have a little bit of time, but, you know, we can't tell the press when.
Any other
when-
questions on that?
Okay,
Okay, discuss job description for the airport manager.
you should all have a copy of just my draft, it is just my thoughts, but we have to start somewhere. And, it's a single page, trying to keep it simple. It's,
He's trying to be banned for
I didn't put a salary amount in it, obviously, at this point, so. But I do have qualifications, duties, and then the supervision, which seem to be the most key.
Dale helped you with this?
I asked him, he looked it over,
Oh.
Yeah.
the bottom of the duties he looked over. I did the qualifications, and then checked that with my wife, Dale.
Good. Answer all proper inquiries, you're not gonna answer any other inquiries.
She made some corrections, trust me.
Yeah.
Give credit where credit is due.
I might point out, you know, with the job description, it says the airport manager's position is part-time.
I'm assuming.
But we're assuming at this point, but we're gonna have some further discussion about that, but we're assuming right now it's part-time.
Will we know, or yeah, we're gonna know, I guess I can ask it now or not, but I mean, I don't know if you guys have talked about it. Are you talking, then we're talking about a possibility of full-time, or are we talking about
Yes.
for 15 to 20 hours? Which way are we going on this?
Possible full-time, we're gonna go to executive session and discuss with Dale.
Personnel.
Okay.
personnel issues,
All right.
yes.
But it seemed only right to discuss this in the open to start with.
Right, sure.
And we could even put salary negotiable, hours negotiable, I mean, it's just. We've had several, well, at least two people that I know of that have contacted us that are interested, retirees.
That meet all these criteria?
Well, I don't know whether they meet all of them, but they have aviation background and they're retired. And they're, seem to have a willingness to help us. So I think that's a good start. Now, whether
Yeah.
they can do some of these other things, I'm not sure.
And so we're kind of given, if I'm just looking at this, and if I'm the airport manager, then basically, I know I can go through the county airport committee first. They're gonna be the ones I directly probably flow through, and then, of course, to the Edgar County Board. Is that, how I'm reading that?
And if you want to reword that more clearly,
Nope.
that's fine.
That's the, because that's the way I would read it, so if that's what
That's what I
you
intended.
wanted, so that,
Yeah, it's not the advisory board,
yes.
which kind of doesn't exist.
Right.
Which is another issue we'll deal with later.
Right.
We're trying to get this,
I-
we're trying to take
Sure,
step by step.
and I was just trying to be fair, hopefully, to
Right.
the airport manager too, so that
Right.
they would know, okay, no, I don't have to go in and talk like the whole county board to
No,
begin with. I'm
airport
talking to
committee.
airport committee of the county board,
Yes.
and that's their first line, and then,
Right.
and after that.
Yeah, that's the line. If the airport committee is over here, it would be staff rather than line.
Right.
They would be advisee or advisor.
Any other questions on that?
You're gonna present this as at the board meeting? You guys are discussing it now?
We've already got approval to go out for advertising for the village. This was to codify how we were, what we were gonna ask this person that applies
Okay.
to consider as his job, or her job, excuse me.
And then we're gonna have discussion in executive session about, I guess, part-time, full-time.
Versus full-time.
And then we can come out of exec session and take action on that if we need to.
Would you like for me to put something together for a notice in the paper?
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
Okay.
If we can come up with a thing here, yeah, absolutely, yes.
Because we need to kind of this month get something, get the process started, because Dale, you know, he took it on an interim basis.
He's about ready to go.
So, farming person.
But he's done a good job.
And I haven't reneged on it yet. You asked me 3 times.
So, let's see. And as far as the negotiations with Jim Mills, we'll discuss that, part of that in executive session.
Does anybody have anything else to discuss outside of, because otherwise I was gonna move that we go into exec session to discuss appointments, employment compensation, discipline, performance, and dismissal of specific employees of the public body, pending litigation and the setting of prices of sale or lease of property owned by the public body.
Whatever on
Is
the
that a
airport
motion?
committee?
Yeah, that's a motion.
Okay, second.
Farm?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
You anticipate action after this committee?
Probably not. Possibly on part-time, full-time, but, so I'm sure you've got stuff to do.
Yeah.
If we make a decision on that, I'll give you a
I would
call.
appreciate it, yeah, I need to get back here
Yeah,
and get started on
that would
stuff.
be the only thing that,
Okay,
any decision that we need to make.
all right, thanks, Carl.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
I know, it's a big difference. It goes up 10 degrees, it comes off the door.
I started to think that chair-
Look at all the doors.